In the heart of early 19th century Tennessee, nestled within the quiet farmlands of Robertson County, stood an old farmhouse. It was a simple, sturdy home, built by the hands of the Bell family. And near that house, a magnificent willow tree stood sentinel, its long, graceful branches weeping towards the earth, as if mourning a sorrow yet to come. This is where our story begins. A tale far more complex than the simple ghost stories you might have heard. This is the story of the Bell Witch, but not as a monster or a malevolent spirit. This is the story of a woman, a forbidden love, and a promise that transcended the veil between life and death. Before she was a whisper on the wind, before her name was spoken with fear, she was a young woman with a heart full of dreams. Her name was Kate Batts, a neighbor to the Bell family. The legends often paint her as an old, cantankerous woman, but the whispers beneath the willow tell a different tale. They speak of a vibrant, passionate woman who fell deeply, irrevocably in love. Her love was for a man she could never have, a man bound by duty and family, a man whose life was intertwined with the very family she would later be accused of tormenting. His name was John Bell. Their love was a secret, a stolen glance across a crowded room, a hushed conversation in the shadow of the great willow. Under its protective canopy, they shared their hopes and fears. The world outside, with its rigid rules and societal expectations, faded away. Here, they were just two souls connected by an invisible, unbreakable thread. But love, especially forbidding love, is a fragile thing. The community was small, and secrets were hard to keep. Whispers began to circulate, not of ghosts, but of impropriety, of a love that defied convention. The pressure mounted. John Bell, a respected man in the community, was torn between his heart and his reputation, his family's honor. Kate, on the other hand, was seen as a temptress, a woman who dared to desire what was not hers. The judgment of their neighbors was a heavy burden, a slow-acting poison that began to sour their secret paradise. The joy they found in each other's company became tinged with the bitterness of impending loss. Every meeting under the willow felt like it could be their last. Eventually, the inevitable happened. The weight of the world became too much. John Bell chose his family, his standing in the community. He ended their affair, leaving Kate with a shattered heart and the sting of public shame. Her grief was a profound and bottomless well. She retreated from the world, her spirit dimming with each passing day. The willow tree, once a symbol of their love, now became a monument to her sorrow. It was there, in her deepest despair, that she made a vow born of love and of pain. She promised that death would not be the end. She promised she would return. Not long after, Kate Batts passed away. The official cause was a common ailment of the time, but those who knew of her heartbreak whispered it was a broken heart that truly claimed her. She was buried, and for a time, a quiet peace settled over the Bell farm. The scandal faded into memory, and life went on. But promises made by a heart as passionate as Kate's are not easily broken. The energy of her undying love and profound sorrow lingered, clinging to the place where her heart had both soared and shattered. It started subtly, a faint whisper on the wind, a sound that could easily be mistaken for the rustling of the willow's leaves. The Bell family paid it no mind at first, but the whispers grew, becoming more distinct, echoing through the halls of their home late at night. They were faint, disembodied voices, speaking of secrets and sorrows. The family would huddle together, listening as the strange sounds filled the darkness, a chilling prelude to the events that would soon turn their lives into a waking nightmare. The whispers began to target one member of the family above all others: the youngest daughter, Betsy Bell. The spirit seemed both fascinated and angered by her. It would pull her hair, pinch her, and speak to her in a voice that no one else could hear. Then, the phenomena escalated. Objects would fly across rooms. Strange animals would appear on the property only to vanish without a trace. And a disembodied voice would mock and torment anyone who entered the house. The spirit identified herself. She called herself Kate, the witch of the Bell family. The torment of John Bell was the most personal and severe. The spirit, the echo of the woman he had wronged, seemed intent on making him pay for her broken heart. It would slap and berate him, follow him into the fields, and curse him with a relentless, invisible fury. His health began to fail under the constant strain of the supernatural assault. He suffered from strange fits and seizures, his face often contorting as if an unseen hand were striking him. The spirit's promise to return had been fulfilled, but not as a gentle memory. It had returned as a force of vengeance, a spectral storm of unresolved grief and anger. News of the haunting spread like wildfire. People came from all over to witness the strange occurrences at the Bell Farm. Even future President Andrew Jackson is said to have made a visit, only to have his wagon mysteriously stop, its wheels refusing to turn until the witch gave her permission. The entity was powerful, intelligent, and seemed to delight in demonstrating its control over the physical world. It held conversations, quoted scripture, and predicted future events, solidifying its terrifying legend. Yet, through all the fear and chaos, one thing remained constant: its focus on John Bell and his family. Years passed, and the haunting continued unabated. John Bell's health deteriorated completely. He was bedridden, a shadow of his former self, constantly tormented by the invisible entity. One morning, he was found unresponsive. Near his bed was a small vial of a mysterious dark liquid. The spirit's voice was heard throughout the house, proclaiming proudly, "I gave OL Jack a big dose of that last night, and that did him." The spirit of Kate Batts had finally claimed its vengeance. Her forbidden love, twisted by grief and betrayal, had ended in a tragedy that would echo through history. After John Bell's death, the spirit's activity lessened, but it did not disappear entirely. It promised to return in 7 years, and then again in 107 years. The legend of the Bell, which was cemented, a chilling tale of a vengeful spirit. But beneath the layers of horror, if we look closer, we can still see the faint outline of a tragic love story. A story of a woman whose love was so powerful, so all-consuming, that it could not be contained by life or death. The whispers beneath the willow tree may sound like a monster's growl to some, but to others they are the heartbroken cries of a love that was never meant to be, and they serve as a timeless, chilling reminder that the deepest passions can sometimes lead to the darkest destinies. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the heart of the legend, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from the shadows.